Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is Pull, Chapter 53, and this one is titled 2 Steps Forward, 1 Step Back. As I stated at the end of Chapter 52, we are picking up this chapter after they are clothed and in their right mind from the romp on the lounge, so this is their conversation after they've been intimate on the lounge. I won't lie, you've been on my mind since the bathhouse weekend, Aizawa said casually as he walked back over and sat down next to you to finish his coffee. Well, same, but like I said before, I don't want to pursue anything if you're going to be all hot and cold on me, he said. You say this just after we've been intimate on the couch, he deadpanned, glancing at you from the corner of his eye. Man, I know, okay? What am I supposed to do when you're so hot? You reached for your cup and took a sip. Okay, well, I'm going to ask you straight. What do you propose we do? Aizawa was silent for a second, not looking at you. What would you be comfortable with? He asked in a very matter-of-fact but dead tone. Man, don't smack the ball back into my court. I don't want to have to lead this thing, you wailed internally, looking back down to your cup of coffee in your hand and swishing the contents around a bit. Would you be happy with a casual relationship? Aizawa asked. Are you meaning hookups? You asked, looking at him. Not exactly, he replied, taking a sip of coffee. You waited for him to continue. Seeing as we're both teachers at the same school, our professional life comes first, he said. You nodded, not necessarily agreeing with his statement, but just letting him know that you'd heard him. Where I'm at right now also plays a part in my wanting to maintain a degree of distance. It sounds like you just want hookups, you stated. Please don't misunderstand. I care about you very much, Yin. I would like for us to continue to see each other, but I can't put a name to this relationship, he said, averting his bloodshot eyes from yours. And why won't you just tell me what's going on? Maybe if you let me in, I'd be able to understand what's going on and help in some way, you thought, looking at his face. Go on, Yin, say it. Just say it like that. Aizawa? Your voice trailed off. He looked at you, waiting for you to say more, but you hesitated, chewing the inside of your cheek before saying the rest. Was there something that happened that makes you not want to get close with anyone again? You asked. I'd rather not discuss it, he said plainly. Your heart sank. You were really hoping that this would be the time that he opened up to you, talking everything out in the comfort of your living room, but that fantasy wasn't going to happen tonight. In response to his reply, you nodded glumly and took a sip of coffee, but then held it in your mouth for a bit because you'd lost your appetite, to be honest, when he had turned down the opportunity to talk. Apologies, Yin. I didn't mean for tonight to end this way, he said, standing up from the lounge and walking over to his jacket. You just nodded again, afraid to speak because you could already feel the tears starting to well in your eyes. He took his jacket from the chair and slung it over his arm, and then nodded at you. Thank you for the coffee, he said politely, then headed for the front door. Frozen in place, you didn't even get a chance to say goodbye before he left, and the minute the door clicked closed, your bottom lip quivered and a tear slid down your cheek. This sucks, you thought, looking down at your coffee, then placing it back on the coffee table again. Feeling overwhelmed with negative emotions, you just lay down and curled up on the lounge, crying for a while about what to do about Aizawa. Aizawa left with a heavy heart, berating himself for how he had conducted himself that night. I really do want to make Yin happy. I wanted to show her that I could be emotionally available, but my past is just holding me back far more than I expected. He walked out of the building and off down the street. But also I don't like the idea of a casual relationship, but what other option do I have? His shoulders slumped and he hung his head a little more. Maybe it would be best to just back off and go strictly to professional relationship, he thought, his brain bringing up the memory of his fingers dragging down your thighs as you moaned his name, and he shook his head dully. I can't give her up. I really do like her a lot. After spending a little time having a pity party for yourself, you got up, picked up the coffee mugs and carried them to the sink, then dumped the contents down the drain. I guess I should go to bed anyway and get ready for another cringe day at work with Aizawa, you grimaced internally, walking back to the lounge room to check that nothing else needed fixing before turning in for the night. As you looked down at the floor, you saw something black sticking out from under the edge of the lounge. Cocking your head to the side curiously, You bent down to pick it up to see what it was. A hair tie? Is this Aizawa's hair tie? You flipped it over a few times before slipping it on your wrist. Guess I'll give it to him tomorrow, you thought as you turned and headed for your bedroom. The next day you walked confidently into the school grounds and walked up to the staff room. Good morning, Hisashi, you greeted the loud teacher. Hey, Yin! He hollered loudly when he saw you. Good morning and welcome to another day in sunny UA. Hisashi, we're not on air, you chuckled. This isn't the radio station. It's still a beautiful day nonetheless. Is that Shota's hair tie? He suddenly asked when he spotted it around your wrist. It's a black hair tie. It could be mine for all you know. Why would you immediately think it's his? Because it is mine, Aizawa said blandly from behind you. You quickly spun around and faced him. I dropped it coming in this morning. He lied. Thank you for picking it up. Oh, you're welcome, you mumbled, slipping it off and handing it to him. Yeah, best we don't say that it fell off at my house while we were being intimate on the lounge, you thought with an internal smirk. We have another ethics class today, Aizawa said to you. Would you like to take it so I can continue my report to Nezu on your teaching style? Oh yeah, that's fine, he replied in a very matter-of-fact tone. I'll go and get set up in the classroom then. And with that you left. Once you were out of the staff room, Hisashi sidled up beside Aizawa and slung his arm across the morose teacher's shoulders. You came in later than Yin, the loud teacher smirked smugly. How could you have dropped your hair tie and she picked it up if she was in front of you and entered this staff room before you? Ask no questions, get told no lies, Aizawa stated before shrugging Hisashi's arm off and walking out of the staff room, intending to follow you down to the classroom so he could talk to you. I'll get you and Yin together someday, Hisashi called out after Aizawa had left. And there ends chapter 53. Stay tuned for chapter 54.